And welcome back, boys and girls, as we get ready to jump into map number 2 in the series here, the grand finals of the Open Qualifiers, a fight for the #1 seed. As the First Strike Open Qualifiers presented by Nerd Street Gamers continues, my name is Bach. Joining me on the broadcast is Vansili. Envy just picked up a big win, 13-11 over CLOUD9 on Ascent, CLOUD9's pick, and now we move into familiar territory for Envy as we jump on over to Split. That's a little bit scary.
Definitely scary at that point, too. I think if we have to look at the cornflake, we have to see who will be able to start off here on the defender side. But I think if we actually need to go to a third map on Split, that is, I would hope that Cloud9 is able to take that defender side. But when you're looking at the best out of 3 overall, Cloud9 picked Ascent. And then you're moving into Split, and then it's like, oh, man, what's going to happen at this point? Actually, sorry, if it goes to a third map, it's Bind. So it's going to go to Split no matter what here. And if we need to go to Bind if we need to. But Split at this point, if it's picked by Envy, definitely Cloud9 now is going to play that defender side where they had a strong showing versus TSM to be able to get a 10-2 lead into that first half, where things started to slow down when it took the attacker side, and then TSM starting to catch up, and eventually Cloud9 won that 13-11 on that last and final round. So to show a team that's a lot more prepared for Envy, looking at how this best out of 3 is going, it's looking to be for Envy, at least in my opinion, for this best out of 3. Because even if it goes to Bind was a map that Cloud9 actually banned throughout the whole first qualifier tournament, and where they actually had to play versus TSM because TSM had the higher seed, and then they banned Haven versus Cloud9. Therefore, leaving Bind into that map rotation where TSM picked it up. Yes, it was a close matchup, but TSM still ended up winning that game. So when you're looking at how deep this series is going in this best out of 3, you could definitely give it to some chances to Envy at this point.
Now, I did get an urgent text message here. It just came through on my watch. It's from the CEO of Nerd Street Gamers. It says here, tell the chat to stop spamming 4. They're crashing the stream. Please don't spam 4 anymore in the chat. So, guys, seriously, apparently you can't spam 4, so don't do it. Okay?
Man, that lettering is small into your watch here, Buck, because you were able to read a lot on that smartwatch.
Yeah, it's actually a very pixel-dense screen. You know, it's like a 1,000 PPI or whatever it is. You know, I can read a lot. I get really high-def pictures on there as well. Now, jumping into the second map, looking at Split, it's going to be scary because we know how good Envy can be on it, and they're coming in now off a big win. We saw them struggle at times in that first map, but it was a collective effort. When you look at the stats, you can really see that. Even though there's a differentiator in there with the average combat score, when you look at the KDA in general, 18 for the top performer, 13 for the bottom. It's a lot different than when you look at the other side. 10's at 23 kills, and then Shinobi and Vice rounded up the bottom of the scoreboard with 11. So the plus-minus differential is actually huge on the other side, and that's typically been a problem in the past for Cloud9, where TenZ has had to carry that workload a little bit. And you don't want to see that. You want to see more even distribution, and we've gotten it throughout this tournament thus far. We just need to see those players step up.
We'll see if that's going to happen as we're getting ready to start here this second map in this best out of 3. It is going to be Split. And now at this point, we're going to have to see if Cloud9 has what it takes to fight against Envy, who has looked very good here on this map, who looked pretty much unstoppable at some point too, where they had a big win versus Gen G yesterday. So to start things off there, we will have, for sure, Cloud9 on the defender side, to start things off, and Envy on the attacker side, with the fault line to start things towards mid. But for the rest right now for Cloud9, or should I say for Envy, they're trying to work towards this A-side pick.
Right off the bat, they get 2 players up ramp. And they're going to start working their way up towards heaven as well. Relix is here playing defense. Caboose sends his boombot in. Relix responds with a boombot of his own. It's very slow as of right now, though. Tick down past a minute mark on the clock. And nothing's really happened as of yet. Some ability trading in both directions, but no one's been spotted. No one's even really shot a bullet as of yet. They're going to start going back towards B, and this would be a massive misread from Envy, as that's where a brunt of the forces are right now for Cloud9. You can see 4 players playing B currently. Killjoy up in heaven. Reyna right by their side. Breach and Omen in sight, ready with the Paranoia. There's the Paranoia coming through. It's a great read coming out from Cloud9 as they crush this push right off the bat, the remaining two members are like,
One
yeah,
player
nope,
remaining.
not having any of it. Booth tries to go in and play tricks with the port. The shadow step doesn't come through. Tens gets a 3K on the round, shifting roles from the Jet to the Reyna, and it's Cloud9 Blue who come out big in the pistol.
Yeah, Envy right now, when they play their attacker side on split, they like to take a little bit of mid control to start things off. And then they always have like a three-man team trying to work an entry somewhere. So we saw that at the beginning towards that A side. But the thing is, you have Mitch playing as that Killjoy, placing all of his utilities towards that A site, where they're comfortable for Cloud9 to just stack up all the way towards the other side, play the numbers, and bring that dogfight on that B side, and play retake on A if need be. Now, if the turret or the alarm bot spotted a few, the Nanostorm is going to hold them a little bit longer, and then they're going to be able to just play the retake. Now, Envy walks into a trap, Cloud9 takes the upper hand, and now into this round, Envy, second round, first round, they also like to stay as a group. They're rushing inside.
One player remaining.
Mitch and Shinobi and Vice also hold their ground.
So, not the greatest start for Envy, but it's okay. It is the attack side of Split, and we already drove that home pretty aggressively in our first series earlier. And they did also lose the pistol after a gamble. Roll of the dice stack towards B worked out really nicely for Cloud9. Could have been a gamble or could have just been a good read. Either way, we'll see the first buy come in for Envy. It's rifles across the board where we still got the Diet rifle for Relics. I don't even want to say it's the Diet rifle. I feel like that's insulting to Diet in general. We'll call it like the RC Cola of rifles. The Shasta, if you will. And we've got some Spectres in the mix. But again, slow off the bat. It's quiet. It's the calm before the storm currently in this first buy round.
Well, we'll start things off here with Caboose trying to get some sort of entry or some mid presence, but there's three players from Cloud9 just trying to work off a flashpoint later on, but Tens want to peek out first. The first kill onto Mame, and he runs away with the dismiss, and they all fall back out of that one, playing the numbers on their side. So as we talked about, Envy liking to take control of mid side first and then go for some execution in the end. Well, they pay the price. Cloud9 reads into that and get the first kill. Now they stack the sites and have the numbers advantage.
10 still here. 10's just feeling it. Decides to just get aggressive. Throws down the Lear as well. Will dismiss away just in case there's another looming threat, but there's not. It's now down to 2 as Envy decides to head back over to A, where Tens has changed positions.
30
nice
seconds
shot
left.
Coming out from FNS, though. A quick flick over. And in the meantime, Crashies took care of the alarm bot and snuck his way up into heaven as well. With 22 seconds left, though, they need to make a move, and they've still got Omen sitting on the site. Shinobi just has to play this one patiently and wait for them to peek. There's the first one, and that's pretty much the round over.
10 seconds
Paranoia
left.
goes a little bit too high. It goes over the head of Crashies, but those bullets don't. They go through the head. 3-0, the start for Cloud9 Blue on the defensive side of Split.
So as you said here, Tens is currently feeling it on this second map. They definitely want to bring this to a third one onto Blind. And the off angles that he's playing so far as that Reyna pays off. The aggressive peaks on that mid side. The second one on top of B Heaven. Even going for a hat trick was good enough to just give that numbers advantage for Cloud9. The rest of the time, the rest of the group, just sit back, let the opponents come to you. Despite Tens dying first, you have wasted enough of their time as well for Envy, where they had to be desperate with 10 seconds remaining to try to get into the round. And then Cloud9 just stopped them in their tracks as well on the A side. So that's 3 unanswered. And even when you looked at the first 2 rounds that were played here, Buck, Envy only had 1 kill off the pistol round and eco round. So now the economy is still not going to be right because they couldn't get any spike plants down either to add that 300 credits on each round.
Boost a little slow on the flick over. Tens had all the time in the world for that kill. And that sends Envy back yet again as they now try to go towards heaven. They're gonna have to deal with this Killjoy hardware. This utility coming out from Killjoy proving to be a serious nuisance for them as they try to work towards B. They're gonna have to wait for the Nano Swarm to dissipate. Tens is waiting around the corner. It's a great flash to get some set up, and he's just gonna stick around. Even though that healing ray gives away his position, he's tucked into the corner, and they don't even get a hard clear. Tens has a 4K on the round. We are 4 rounds in, and Tens is on double digits.
And Device is just doing a great job to set things up here for his teammates too. So utility that they have right now for Cloud9, they're using it very, very well to actually continue these double setups, where it's actually enabling TenZ to continue to get these first kills. And as you see right now, they're actually changing things up. They put a turret up on that mid side, and they're going to play that semi-passively so they can take more control towards the ropes and towards A Heaven. Look how pushed up they are. Shinobi's going to get, or try to maybe get a paranoia out. No, it's going to be a smoke instead. So Envy back onto a gun round. Because of that smoke, they're going to have to slow things down for a bit. But we're not falling back here for Cloud9. We still fight against them. And that's because Shinobi play on the other side of the cyber gate, so the audio is never heard. They never check that corner, and Shinobi, big brain play.
Food gets into an awkward exchange with the defense. The flashes are on point as well, causing a slowdown and delay for Envy. You can see over on the A site, Relic's blast packs away from the threat that's around the corner. You've still got TenZ up in heaven, currently waiting in a really difficult spot, though. Puts a lot of pressure on Shinobi. Shinobi has to go big to watch the play coming up from ropes to give him the backup he needs. So Shinobi gets the first, and Shinobi finds the second. That's exactly what TenZ needed. It's the backup he was relying on. First Lear's out, second Lear out as well. Mummy's stuck in the corner and needs some help, but he doesn't have any. Everyone's dead, and Shinobi finds a 4K. You know, Shinobi's not exactly a player that gets much love when it comes to the stats. Gets a lot of hate from the community as a result, but he'll find a nice little 4K here, and Cloud9 can continue to cement themselves in this first half with a 5-0 scoreline. 9-2 for Shinobi. Solid work coming in from the in-game leader.
TenZ is being such a thorn on the side of Envy right now. Wherever he is, they're just walking into him, and he continues to get those kills. Already now, after 5 rounds, he's 11-1-3. So at that time, they try to clear out the A ramp to try to take down TenZ, while Shinobi's still playing on the heaven side across. So you had everybody pinch and pincer to try to take down the Reyna, but the backstab was just perfect. So TenZ is doing a great job just to utilize himself as a bait too, to allow his teammates to put up numbers into the round. So that puts Envy back onto a save. We're changing pace a little bit right now for the attacker side, as they're all grouping up here towards this B heaven and trying to walk into the B. I think we've got 3 players getting ready to counterattack.
TenZ on site, playing ring around the rosy. It's Rope-a-Dope currently coming in from TenZ, but eventually he gets tired out. It's up to Vice and Relics, and they make it look easy as they come around the corner. Vice survives with 5 HP, despite the fact that the 2 top performers both died in the round. It's still a win for Cloud9 Blue. Envy may have found success in map number 1, but success is currently not something they've been able to find here thus far in map number 2. So they desperately need to pick up a round, or this is just going to spiral out of control. And I worry what would happen if we moved into that 3rd map if they came off the back of like a huge blowout.
And the thing is here, Bach, the ones that are supposed to put up numbers for Envy as well are currently still tracking this pass. They're 0-6. That's for Lucian and Monday. Now the Blade Storms are coming out too. The Relics continues to hold his ground towards the A side as they are trying to push aggressively, falling off the Blade Storm. The attackers are trying to push through, and Mame gets picked off there, and Shinobi dispatches him, and that's it. They get a flawless round coming in here for the attackers, or for the defender side, sorry. And actually the Blade Storms weren't even popped. Yeah, they were. Okay, so they were popped here for Mame. They couldn't get anything out of it. 2 of them are 0-7 right now. 0-7, by the way. But at least now, with that Blade Storm that was popped, he didn't spend any money into that previous round, so he will be able to get an operator for Mame into this one here. And the money's still going to be decent right now for Envy to go for a rifle with food as well.
Because of the scoreboard orientation of KDA versus KAD, it's really hard to get the secret agent. 0 kill, 0 death game with 7 assists is pretty unlikely. But again, you know, we talked about it. The top performers struggling. That last round, I don't know if you even caught it. They tried to go for that explode with the blast packs and the showstopper, and Caboose got legged by an AWP while trying to fly in. It slowed him down and it ruined the play. He was down to 30 HP. That's why he died so quickly. Couldn't even fire off the rocket. Now here we have a 1-for-1 trade early. That's at least promising for Envy. But they're going to have to make something happen. Yeah. Sure, they spotted Shinobi in the early part of the round after losing their Jet. But now what?
That's what I mean, right, Buck? He lost that 1v1 to Shinobi when he had an op 2. So now it's going to go into the hands of Trashies as they're going to try to explode into the inside.
Nice cancel from Mitch as he stops that from happening. Takes down another target too as he goes for 180. The turret making it look easy right now.
30 seconds left.
The last remaining member is Food in mid, and well, he's not really playing with the rest of the team. He was playing back off the play. He's going to leap his way through the ropes and try to make it up through heaven in time to try and make something happen, but with limited time left on the clock, his options are limited and gets caught going for a smoke as Tens peeks the corner. Empress was utilized, so that'll result in a cooldown of the ult points for Tens. He'll have to build that ult back up, but at this point, it's 8-0. So I don't think he really cares if he has his ult or not. And we'll take a look at the scoreboard and continue to see just the problems that have plagued Envy in this first half. They're going to relate to a lack of performance from some of their best players, Mummy and Caboose. 0-8 on both of them. 15-2 for Tens, 12-2 for Shinobi. 27 kills between two players in 8 rounds.
Get him.
It's absurd.
Exactly. That's the story there. It was just like, it's not necessarily them not letting their shots do, but just look at that. It's how it's being set up. It's a flashpoint that's coming through from Vice. Tens comes out, gets 2 kills. Finally, Caboose gets his first 2 points on the scoreboard, but it's just how
player
standing right now and enabling their players.
I know exactly.
But suddenly, as I see that, we have FNS that's coming through on a 2v2.
Relics just goes to the 360, a nice little casual 360. It's now the 1v1, as it's going to be the Raze battle. As you can see, his target gets blasted away. Look at the damage being dealt, though. Relics has this one very much under his control. The blast pack down just goes out deep. Relics in the same position, and ooh, Caboose! Great round coming out from Caboose. As Caboose finally wakes up, the sleeping giant gets onto the scoreboard. But it's been a long time since we've seen much action come in by way of Caboose or Mummy. So sure, great round from Caboose, a 3K, but the fact that that's the first 3 kills for Caboose is a bit disappointing. And they're going to need a Herculean performance similar to that for the remainder of this first half to try to keep it even close.
Hey man, you gotta start somewhere. So to be able to start with a 3K and also a 1v1 to win that round when he only had 19 HP, on the back of a thrifty round when they had 2 share shots and 2 frenzy kills from FNS to even it to a 2v2 and make it a 1v1 in the end. To even be able to dodge Relics' showstopper on that 1v1 and still win it. That starts that confidence right now that Envy needs, and you hope that they continue it off that back and off that effort from FNS and from Caboose. And so far, though, they've taken a lot of map control and also towards his A side, but the ultimate here from Shinobi is going to give that tell that they are trying to work towards his A side, but they still have 3 players there. So that's why nobody's rotating yet. And finally, the explosion's going to come in from Envy.
Relics on site. He's got some backup as well from Shinobi. Relics is able to find 2, but Shinobi and Relics both go down. Vice wants to eke through, but it doesn't work out so well. So Envy,
Spike
look at
planted.
the plant out of this one. And we're seeing a little life from them. The heart rate monitor starting to just bleep just a bit. Tens. He's got targets waiting around the corner. Mitch starting to come through from A-ramp. Goes ahead and drops the ult. There's the showstopper, but he prevents the rocket from coming out. Yet again, Caboose goes for that ult and it doesn't work. And now that Killjoy ult comes through and makes this so much more difficult for Mummy. He has to try to run. It's so well played from Cloud9. If they had gotten that rocket off, even if he dies but gets the rocket off, he could have prevented the ult from coming through potentially had Mitch put it down first. But the way that it all comes together, Mitch waits until after that point to drop the ult, and it puts Mummy in an unwinnable position.
So difficult too, man. There's so much pressure on his back. Like we said, unfortunately, he's not getting any kills so far. Now he's stuck on a 2v1 to try to clutch when they had a 4v2 and their teammates are slowly falling behind. And that's just off a great flank from Mitch. Him breaking that trapwire and putting that ult down, I thought at that point you're just playing for exits and trying to hurt the economy of Envy so that you can move it forward to the next round and then break him later on after that. But now the only kind of break the momentum, you also break the morale, allowing for them to win this 2 versus 4 for Cloud9. Man, they are looking unstoppable for this first half at least. We'll see if the story changes once we see the signs, but right now it is the story of Tens.
Well, that's a little awkward as the fight doesn't really work out well for Cloud9. Thought for sure we'd see more than that with the way they just ran through the dark cover straight into a double setup. But we still come down to a 3-on-3. 1:05 left on the clock as they start to work their way back towards heaven. You've got Breach currently sitting in hell, waiting at the bottom of that rope for whatever is coming that direction. Do they clear it? The ultimate question on everyone's mind as they fly out. They do kind of, but it's not quick enough, and that allows Vice to strike.
Tripwire destroyed.
It's now FNS in a 1-on-2 and has no idea that he's got players on all sides. He's going to have to deal with the rays coming in from heaven with the paint shells coming out. It actually connects. It's right on the money with FNS. But I love this play. Sneaks into this position. I don't think they're going to anticipate this. FNS is in a god tier position, just has to hold the line. First kill's his, will he find that second? No. Mitch with even just a sidearm, able to deal with the low HP target of FNS. Again, a close round, but close doesn't matter anymore. It's 10 rounds on the board for Cloud9 on the defense.
They had such a big numbers
Last
advantage
round
there
for the
to
half.
run into the site from that heaven, but somehow, like you said here, Bach, trying to have 3 players clear versus 1, yet Vice, was it Vice? I think was still able to get 2 kills out of that before he fell. That's just unfortunate there for Envy, as everything else worked quite well when they were trying to take the mid-side control first. But now, after 11 rounds, 10 is already at 20 kills. Mame's finally on the board, but is it too little too late? There's only 1 more round to go, and it's just going to be Envy looking to explode towards his B side, where once again, there's 3 players there, and another time, it's going to be Tens just around
Right
the corner, waiting to dispatch
Get out
them.
of my way!
There's the rolling thunder popped as they try to make their way out.
Wow.
Somehow, Mummy is able to make that one work. And they're still working their way onto the site when Cloud9 fires back just like that. It's all down to FNS. And a large part of that is the Empress ult coming out from Tens. 3 kills on the round. Cloud9 look absolutely fantastic on the defense.
Man, yesterday when we were actually looking at Envy play, and the other times that we watched Envy play on Split, we're like, well, we're going to have to try to find a way to maybe ban Split if we're to play against Envy. But after seeing the performance of Cloud9 here on the defender side, I kind of see why they're comfortable and how they're okay to play this map. It was a close battle versus TSM towards the end, but so far here on that defender side, it's been so one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, even some of the close rounds still managed to go the way of Cloud9.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you know, Envy had opportunities there for sure, but Cloud9 was making it difficult for them to do anything. Now they switch over, though, to the favored side. The problem is they can't make any mistakes. It starts out nicely for them with a pistol kill coming in from Mummy, and Caboose has some freebies. Either they're not looking or they're blind, one or the other. It's a free kill. You're starting to see the tendencies of the map illustrated perfectly here in the pistol. Cloud9 is at a massive disadvantage of 5-on-2.
They said they needed no mistakes so far, none whatsoever. They still have 5 alive, 5 full HP as well if we're looking at the health bar at the top. I don't even think any of them got damaged by any armor yet either. So now with the spike down 2, they have the numbers advantage to just focus onto this side, and they're even playing it safe on top of that, just putting that smoke down, run that clock off, and then eventually just get the round into your side. But Tens says he doesn't want to be done with it yet. He's looking for an entry with this frenzy. He's pre-firing first, and they're retaliating back. But finally, he manages to escape. But it's just going to be a matter of time before it's over, and it's just well placed how they
30 seconds left.
The trap wires on top of that to catch them in that position for Cloud9 trying to run into the site. So it should be 11-2 right now, especially with Vice down to 2 HP. Tens trying to use this as a one-way.
Finished.
Okay.
10 seconds
I've
left.
gotten a kill with the frenzy
One
from
player
more than like
remaining.
2 feet away, and he's making it look easy as he hits a dink shot as well on that last target before eventually falling. I like this move as well, going for the orb pickup. It doesn't really work out so well for Envy as Mummy tries to dash in. Vice is just looking to maybe get another kill or two. And almost did. But Envy pick up a pistol round that they absolutely needed to find. And now they'll move into the next round with a little bit of oomph, but look at this. CLOUD9 has 0 chill. Tens has gone straight to a Bulldog purchase. He's saying, nah, let's put him in their grave right now. We're going to go for the buy here, and we're going to make this happen. I think Vice dropped the rifle over to 10 so he could buy full armor to back it up. I like this. I respect the style coming in from CLOUD9.
Yeah, because I think in the end, Vice with no money, but hopefully had enough for utilities too. He's just going to be the one that's going to fault line and flash for his teammates to get across. Thankfully, right now, though, for Envy, is that they don't have to face any type of against any type of jet. The only thing that could be a nuisance right now is if Skylar or Relic, is going to go for some blast packs and push aggressively into any of the areas they're trying to go into. So they start with a smoke up on ropes as they try to get control early into the A side. I thought they were going to try to sell a fake and just explode into A, but they are still looking to take control of this mid side first.
Mummy, sitting up in the mailroom, tries to deliver a bullet to the skull of the members of CLOUD9 trying to work their way into mid. This is a very slow patient play, for CLOUD9. They peek their heads out, and they spot that first target. Now they know the jig is up. They realize that this is a force buy coming out from them. The flash comes through. Crashes is blind. The flash also delays them just a bit. The Moonbot, though, is going to trace his position, and just like that, they've gained up some sight control. The nade goes down, and it's a quick shot coming out from Vice. Tens with the follow-up at the end. 12 rounds now on the board for CLOUD9.
Match
Envy.
point.
Just every time they get an opportunity to try and put their foot in the door, CLOUD9 slams it shut and slices their toes off.
And just the lurk play to sneak to move up towards the A ramp to allow Relics to get that first kill was good enough there for them to overtake the site. You gotta hate it being crashies at that point. I mean, you got paranoia. You saw that the paranoia also got onto the boombot. You shot it. So at that point, you thought you broke it so you could hold towards your A ramp. You get the first kill, but then you get exploded by the boombot finding you right after because, unfortunately, you didn't dispatch of it. And that just opened things up there for CLOUD9 to take that round and secure that round quite convincingly. So now Mame, he's pretty much the only one that didn't buy on that previous round because he wanted to save for an op. So now he does have a Vandal to work with, and thankfully he's the first one to get the opening kill.
Broken.
Relics is going to send that boombot out hunting, and it's taken down quickly. CLOUD9.
Here.
Working their way into the mailroom. They've got Caboose waiting on the other side, and we know how good his sheriff can be. We saw it as it picked up the only round that Envy was able to win in that first half. But he falls off the ledge. Whether accidental or not, it's going to impact the round. He tries to blast pack his way, and he'll boost himself up like an elevator onto the balcony. But CLOUD9 is playing this one so incredibly slow. And they're going to be taking it back towards the A site where we've got 2 defenders currently,
30
but one
seconds
starting
left.
to sneak in that direction. That'll be Cypher. That should be FNS. So you've got Envy and a couple of players grouping up towards this A site, ready for the explosion that's about to come their way. There's the Lear through. Food steps into the dark cover, doesn't work out so well.
10
Just
seconds
misses in.
left.
The flying
One
kill
enemy
coming out from
remaining.
Crashies, who's found another. And now it's all up to Mitch, who gets taken down on the back lines. Envy stay alive. The question is, can they continue this? And for how long?
You definitely got to thank Mame on that last round. The first kill that he gets is actually against Vice. So despite them actually having such a low buy on that force buy to stay alive for Envy, when Cloud9 eventually wants to execute into the site, you had one player with a stinger, one player with a sheriff. So making sure that Crashies had to be on point with the sheriffs to get those kills, that would have been possible if Cloud9 still had Vice alive to help them with the fault lines and flashes into the site. So because of that, they basically just ran into the site after using the blast packs of Relics, but he was able to get those backstabs right after. So thankfully off of that, it's going to be the round coming in for Envy, and it seems like a mixed buy now for Cloud9 with 10 falling first.
trade back and forth, but it's Envy who comes out in the favorable portion of the exchange. Got Breach very low on HP. CLOUD9 trying to work their way away from that. So they lick their wounds early and they'll fall back. Envy controls the early round, but not by a whole lot. Sure, you've got a low Breach, but we've seen some low HP players make some big plays in the past. Dark cover coming in, which could actually be beneficial. That could allow CLOUD9 to move across ramp and get into heaven, or even do what they're doing right now and just kind of huddle up, excuse me, inside the dark cover. There's the flashpoint
30
coming out.
seconds left.
Crashy's just right around the corner, and that's the spike getting picked off from a distance. 25 seconds left. They need to make a move. Relics with a nice shot at least onto Crashy's, but you've still got food lurking on the site.
player
A
remaining.
threat that is yet to be dealt with. He's been dinked now through the wall, but even Relics can't manage to finish him off. 4 rounds on the board for Envy. CLOUD9 might be able to find the win, but Envy's making them work for it.
And those guys haven't given up from and for Caboose. Look at them right now, 8 and 7, really holding their ground on that mid-side take together. Mubby and Caboose holding it down for any type of pushes, any type of map control for CLOUD9 in the mid first. And it's them even pushing down aggressively. You saw them pass by that box, playing on the ledges, and covering towards Ramen and Sewers to get those frags to eventually fall off right after. That's going to put now CLOUD9 back in a safe situation.
Satchel out.
So they're still looking to get some sort of lurk play right now for the attackers, and it's still going to be Caboose spotted first, but as he swings towards that right, his teammates peeking out, and again, that duo working together to get that first kill.
I love that play, too, to kind of get into that position with Caboose just flying in with the blast pack to get an early positional advantage. Good damage coming out onto Relics through the wall. He got the Frenzy right around the corner. The tripwire was down. Nice dink shot, at least, onto Food. But a 2-man advantage for Envy. Shinobi gonna try and work his way in with just a pistol. There's one on the balcony and one just nestled up behind the box. There's one standing in the Moombot. It'll blow up actually right in the face of Caboose, but by that point the rifle had already done the dirty work. Mitch, the only one surviving and trying to sneak into the site to potentially find a plant. Does have at least some site control, but there's that paint shells going down. Could go for this plant potentially, but decides to just take for the fight. And it doesn't work out so well. 5 rounds for Envy. Slowly putting themselves into a position where a comeback could be considered, but you've still got to look at just the mountain of rounds that separates these two teams, and also the performance that's coming out from TenZ, that pop-off potential that could occur at any moment. 27 kills for TenZ. At one point, he and Shinobi were close, but he has since just hit the afterburners, and he's left everyone in his dust.
But still, when you look back at Envy, how TenZ, his storyline was able to be wherever the opponents were in the push. It's nice drop there by Caboose with the showstopper to spot Relics. This is what I'm talking about. Very similarly to TenZ, Caboose and Mame seem to be at the right locations to get these first bloods and also weaken any type of attacking play. So after that showstopper, he's pushing all the way towards spawn. We're playing in that angle. He watched spawn and also hear footsteps if they're trying to run through sewers. But the thing is, though, Vice is walking, and everybody else is walking back from B towards spawn. So Caboose is in a tight spot. He's going to have to come up big here on his next kill against Shinobi, it seems. Timing, again.
I like the aggressive plays coming out from Caboose there. I love the confidence that you see brimming over for Caboose. Oh no, Crashies! I like that at least. He went for that initial peek, then hits the Rolling Thunder instead. Playing a little bit risky at first and then safe, but had he gotten that in the right order, it probably would have produced a serious success for him. Still seems to be working out initially as he finds an opener, but traded out by Mitch.
30 seconds
2
left.
on 3. Numbers favoring Envy. You've got the ult for the Killjoy as well. So you've got Lockdown available, and now Omen has the port. So there's flexibility. And you can see that ult being called out as the spike is in the hands of Omen. I don't think it's going to make a difference, though. Mummy is there. Yep. Well read from Mummy as he goes cross-map on a hunt for that Omen player, and it works out nicely for them. Envy now have 6 rounds on the board. Inch by inch, they crawl back into the game.
Yeah, they're definitely not intimidated by the overall scoreline on that first half here from the way that they're playing on this second one for Team Envy. Even then, when Caboose kind of died towards that spawn side, I think he only spotted Omen at that point, but knowing that it was a spike carrier that kind of killed him, or just that he got picked off when they were trying to trade back against him, we saw that Food immediately went from the shadows outside of the elbow at A side, while the rest of the team was slowly pushing forward towards this mid as well. They didn't really push outside of B, if I'm not mistaken, because they still had a camera to play towards that side if they tried to walk back towards that area for Cloud9. So Envy did very good here to readapt after that first kill from the showstopper, and also after losing a player mid-round.
Mummy posted up with that op, waiting. Cloud9 currently has a lot in their toolkit. They've got Showstopper, they've got Lockdown, they've got the Rolling Thunder as well, but they don't have Shinobi. As the Omen was taken down by an aggressive play coming up from Mummy with the op. Flashed out of position is FNS though, and you've got Caboose still here, back of sight. Somehow got a second one spamming through. Tens is at least there with a trade. Relic spots a target as he tosses a blast pack up. But there's quite a few bodies building up around the site. You've already got everyone here. The knives coming out, and just like that, snap of your fingers, Envy gets back onto the site. No spike plant today. So Cloud9 trying to make it work, but no dice. Play continues on with Envy now just 5 rounds away from taking us into overtime.
You see from that scoreboard, he's basically juggling this op right now, knowing that if they lose this round, it's pretty much over. So Food is juggling a Phantom and also an Operator, just so that if he misses a shot looking towards his A-side elbow, he could switch back over to a Phantom and then hold the site. So double op set up now for the defenders of Envy, and Food is going to be potentially the first point of contact as Cloud9 is grouping up towards this area. But it's still going to be Envy putting up this fight. It's not over yet right now, as they're still giving this mid control available for Cloud9, and they're just stacking up at sites. Cloud9 is just looking for an aggressive push here at this point. The smokes are coming soon.
Well, there's that Killjoy ult. We'll see if that's what it's going to take. Food is in position, pinging out the turret. Has to be careful as that ult is going to connect. He's trying to get away, but no, he gets detained because he got slowed. So there's 2 players actually detained. They're going to blast him out of position. It's an easy couple of kills for them to gain access to the site. This could potentially be it. Cloud9 is going to get a spike plant out of this, and it's a 4-on-3, and they've still got the Rolling Thunder to play with.
That is so unfortunate, but let's see what happens with the round now with the attempt of a retake. Only 2 players remaining. FNS, the first one to come out from the doorway. A Rolling Thunder here into the site. And gets out of position. There's that first kill, but didn't connect onto the second one. It's still up to Crashy. 3 versus 1. Spots the first. Vice falls. Now towards the elbow. The crossfire is set up, but Relic gets that last kill. And we are moving into a 3rd and final map of this grand finals. And I was gonna say here, Buck, it was just unfortunate there that when Food actually saw the turret that was being popped up there by Mitch, he was like, oh, the turret's not spotting me, so I'm just gonna ping it for my teammates and say, look, they're looking to push into the site. And then suddenly as it spots him, he's like, holy crap, I can't get a kill anymore with the Operator before trying to shadow step away. And that was probably the demise of how Cloud9 got into the site so easily right after.
Yeah, you look at that play and you think, okay, this is a risky play, and if it works out, he might be able to get a pick and then shadow step away. But then the turret comes out.
That's it.
And the turret gets a few pulses in, and all of a sudden he's slowed down. His plan gets derailed. He tries to stick around to still find that shot, decides to shoot at the turret instead, but it's that momentary decision that costs him his life. He ends up getting stuck in the lockdown, gets slowed down as a result, and Cloud9 is finally able to close things out. It was hard fought from Envy. I gotta give them credit continuing to keep themselves in the game despite the fact that they had their backs against the wall. But now we move on to that 3rd and final map, and it's going to be Bind, where Cloud9 did win the coin flip, so they'll get to start on their choice, which is going to be the defensive side on Bind. But before we talk about that too much, we're going to go ahead and throw things to a break. When we come back, we will see who will be escaping the open qualifiers here for First Strike as the #1 seed. Is it going to be Envy, or will it be Cloud9? Stay tuned to find out.